Ni viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on channel Ni. I understand that some viewers may have some confusion over the MBTI because they tried the MBTI test online and got a different result each time. So, which one is the correct MBTI type? So in this MBTI episode and the next MBTI episode, we are going to address the problem of mistyping. Mistyping is a very common problem if you use the online 93 question format for the MBTI assessment of your own personality type. I understand the frustration that a lot of people have. They do not know their MBTI type. Some may even go so far as to say that the test is not valid. However, as a personality psychologist, I am going to reiterate that everyone has only got one MBTI type. And this type is going to be stable for a very long time unless some major changes happen to you that cause you to have to switch your cognitive stacks. But usually we do not encounter situations where we have to alter or change our cognitive functions. So what this really means is that our personality is going to be rather stable. And so if you are not getting your MBTI type consistently, then the problem lies with the 93 question paper and pencil or online format. So in this episode, we are going to address the problem of why some people always type differently when they try the 93 question online format for the MBTI. So I have identified 4 reasons why the MBTI paper and pencil or the online quiz format is not reliable for some individuals who take it. However, before we get to that, remember the MBTI as a concept is definitely valid and it has helped a lot of people understand themselves. However, the test itself may not be accurate for some individuals. Reason number 1 for this is that some individuals do not have a high level of self-awareness. While a lot of people want to believe that they really know themselves very well, the unfortunate fact is it is not usually true. So personally, I have noticed that those people who have introverted intuition or NI tend to be more self-aware and they also tend to be able to type themselves consistently. So examples of these types who use introverted intuition will be the INTJ, INFJ, ENTJ and ENFJs. So I have a few of such friends and they report that when they do the MBTI test online, they consistently type as the same type.
We the same type, you my airline. Yeah.
So in that regard, I would believe that there are some types, maybe probably the sensing types, they may have a little bit more problem trying to look inward and analyze themselves. Reason number 2 why some people may type inconsistently using the paper and pencil format is different states of mind, ambiguity. So some of the statements that you see may be open for interpretation. So you may get something like, I like to go to parties. So at different points in your life, you may actually agree or even disagree with this statement. So presume you just got a new boyfriend or a girlfriend and you want to go out more often to let people get to know your new partner. So you may be in a stage whereby you really enjoy going out. So you may be more inclined during that point in time to answer, I agree that I like to go to parties during that point in your life. So similarly, your state of mind may actually change the interpretation of the statements that you see, and hence you might agree or disagree at different times. So in that way, having a different state of mind may cause you to agree when usually you may have disagreed with the statement. And therefore, if enough of the questions pull together in the wrong direction, you may start to have a different personality type. A third reason why the MBTI online format that consists of 93 questions may not be reliable in typing some individuals is different MBTI types can have the same manifestations. So what do I mean by that? I have a few examples. So usually the statements that you see on the MBTI questions are basically just manifestations. For example, you might get a statement like, I really value individuality. So technically, this statement on the surface may be measuring whether you are a J-type or a P-type, loosely. So I would presume that most of the P-types would agree with the statement, I really value individuality. This is because the P-types have cognitive functions that really put freedom on top of their list. However, the P-types personalities may not be the only types that really value individuality. For example, the ENTJ really values and appreciates that people are different. So it is no wonder that a person who may be ENTJ but really expresses this on the format can be typed as an ENTP. So let me give you another example. You must have had this experience of queuing up at an ATM waiting for someone to finish so that you can use the ATM machine. ATM machine, the ATM. You must have also encountered a person who after drawing money just stands there, counts the money and then put it slowly in his or her wallet before walking off. You know, there are always people who after having drawn money want to stand in front of the machine still to do their own things. They seem not to be very aware that there are a lot of people behind the queue and they are just taking up some space there. So these type of people may tend to be P-types as well because they may be having FI or TI, feeling for themselves or just thinking about themselves only. However, standing in front of the ATM and counting the amount of money dispensed is correct is not strictly a P trait. It could also be something that the ISTJ might demonstrate. So the ISTJ may just stand in front and count the money to make sure because they are very cautious. At the same time, the ISTJ also have FE blind spot. So what this means is that ISTJ may also be sometimes oblivious to the people in the queue around them. So in this case, the statement may be designed to ask if a person may be more P than J. However, there are some J types who will exclusively agree with this type of statements. Still, back to our reason number one, some people don't even know that they are standing right in front of the ATM after the money is dispensed because they are not really aware of themselves, their behavior, and the surrounding. Now let me give you an example for the reverse. For a very long time, I thought that my mom is a J type because she is usually very punctual. My mom is not only on time, she is way before time. And punctuality is a J trait, right? However, I took some time to realize that my mom is usually way before time because she wants to be first. She is afraid of losing out. And together with a lot of other information that are gathered from my observation of my own parent, I have now typed her as a P. So a P-type person may also demonstrate J-type traits. This could be because the J-type trait that the P-type individuals may demonstrate is their third tertiary function, which can be demonstrated to some degree in their lives. However, the paper and pencil test that you do, or the online test for that matter, does not actually separate all this into cognitive functions. And that is your reason number 4. Reason number 4, why the MBTI is inconsistent in producing the same type for some individuals is that the statements are not designed to tap on cognitive stacks. So in a lot of my previous videos, I have already started talking about the dominant function, the auxiliary function, the tertiary function, and the inferior function. The MBTI actually types people based on their cognitive stacks, which is these 4 functions and how they are arranged. So generally, when we process information, we use the dominant function supported by our auxiliary function first. And through these thoughts, it manifests into several decisions and actions. However, the MBTI statements that you find on the test do not measure cognitive stacks. Hence, it may be unreliable for some individuals. However, there is a longer paper and pencil format for the MBTI. I am not too sure whether that would have been more accurate because there are more questions in that battery or in that questionnaire for individuals who want to know their MBTI type to actually attempt. However, what I'm addressing in this video is the flaws of the 93 question or the shorter version MBTI format. So some of my viewers may have attempted the MBTI online format and they are in a dilemma because they get 2 different types. They are sometimes typed as the INTP, sometimes typed as the ISTP. So which is the one that is correct? So in this case, you definitely have to know the cognitive stacks. But before we go into the cognitive stacks, I am going to use that episode to tell you whether the combination that you are getting between INTP or ISTP is even possible. And if you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing because we're going to produce a lot more MBTI episodes that you will find useful. Okay, I hope that this episode has helped you to understand why the MBTI online test may not be consistent for some individuals. So we have a lot more MBTI episodes coming up. Do look forward to that and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye!